I have directed that the offices of all ministers and all assistant ministers become vacant. Consequently, the occupants of the said offices cease to hold their respective offices.
In an unprecedented move only previously executed by Kenya's third President Mwai Kibaki, after internal wrangling created rifts between individuals and parties, President William Ruto resolved to fire his entire cabinet, bowing to public pressure following weeks of anti-government protests that rocked the nation. However, the dynamics then and now are different, since we are under a new constitutional dispensation that, among other things, extends the timeline within which a new cabinet must be constituted.
Unlike in 2005, you have a first-tier vetting before you get to parliament. The people are now vetting anyone else who is involved in government. So if William Ruto appoints people to cabinet today, whether he has consulted whoever he said he would consult, the people would have to have a say. And we have identified that even the political class now are singing the tune of the people.
Given the push behind the move, one would ask whether the shake-up ends at the cabinet level or if its impacts are projected to trickle down.
He will also be forced to appoint or to reshuffle or even dismiss the whole architecture of principal secretaries. That is bound to happen. The principal secretaries, many as they are, will have to go home. So we are looking at a restructuring of the whole government, if you may.
Philip Mwangale, an advocate of the High Court and a governance expert, opines that while change is important, a total overhaul could mean moving a few steps back in the implementation of various government policies.
There is nothing that stops William Ruto from, nominating an entirely fresh team. But he's faced with one challenge, that Rigathi Gachagua is still deputy president. One of the things that I think is holding him back is that he can't do anything with or about Rigathi Gachagua. And Rigathi Gachagua is one of those proponents of shareholding. So if a new cabinet is coming in, you should rest assured that Rigathi Gachagua wants a share of that cabinet, and that is a problem. So it is only because Rigathi Gachagua is there, unless somebody is brave enough to file a motion or to table a motion of impeachment.
In the current political context and national conversation, can the president rehire some members from the previous cabinet based on political loyalties?
The argument has been made that having a principal secretary who is a technical person in a ministry is enough. I don't think it's enough. If you have a minister, a cabinet secretary who is clueless, then that ministry is gone. So you have some of those technocrats in the PS, in the line ministries, the permanent, the principal secretaries, but they have done nothing but loot or aid the cabinet secretaries in looting. So it is not so much about the technical experience. It has a lot to do with integrity and leadership, because the cabinet needs leadership. The ministries need leadership.
After paying political loyalty debts, President Kibaki and Uhuru went for technocrats for ministerial appointments. Is firing all his political appointees the way forward for President Ruto to appoint career technocrats?
For you to have a government that functions, you need institutional memory. You need people who understand how government works. So there's that reality there that on one hand, Kenyans do not want him to pick the usual people, do not want him to pick people that are known to him or have been associated with him. But the reality is that where government is, unless we want to crumble things up so that we build it up later, you need some of those people who have been there before, not necessarily in cabinet, but faces that have interacted with government at some level.
And will Kenya see a Gen Z make it to the cabinet?
If it is playing politics, then you would have a Gen Z in cabinet. But then for me, it is not about inclusion, it is about inclusivity. So if you're saying you are involving the youth in governance, it's not enough to just say, I have picked somebody who is a Gen Z or a millennial, they are now in cabinet. Now you have calmed situations. I mean, we have young people who are in parliament who are doing nothing. You have young people or younger people, youthful people who have been in cabinet and they have done nothing. So it's not really a question of who from what demographic gets into cabinet. I would rather substance informs, these things.
David Kagina, K24, Nairobi.